Hi, everyone. The company I currently work for is facing a kind of a crisis of culture. There is a tremendous lack of leadership at the managerial level, and to me, that's a huge issue. Um, it's one that has caused numerous problems across the company, and I think addressing that one issue will not only correct this course, but will also put back in place some of the strong leadership which creates a positive culture. So the lack of leadership from a managerial level is probably the biggest issue my company currently faces. The current structure of the company has allowed lower level managers to basically not be held responsible for their actions. They're able to do their day-to-day jobs and not really have any repercussions if these jobs aren't done to a satisfactory level. The decision to remove some of these and to automate a lot of their duties was one for lack of job performance to begin with. The corporate office decided that these duties were more important to be run from a corporate level, so they basically took them away from these managers. But in the end, it created a lack of, or it created a not my problem culture. So they corrected a few issues, but then created many, many more. So as you can see, the current culture is just not one that's persistent with a quality organization. It's a pass the buck, not my problem. I will continue to push it off, and that all falls back on the managerial level because these issues simply aren't their problem. They're not held accountable. As you can imagine, there are several negative aspects as far as the people below that report directly to these managers: increased absenteeism, low job satisfaction, decreased customer satisfaction. It's just across the board. It's creating this negative culture that we currently work for and work in, and it's actually lost several accounts for us. The business is beginning to fail due to this one issue of not holding these managers accountable for their lack of leadership. Basically, if it persists, employee turnover will continue to increase, which creates a very negative attitude workplace for other employees that are having to constantly come in and pick up the slack of those new employees who don't quite know what to do yet and haven't been trained. And if you're always covering for the new guy, it makes your job as a seasoned employee a lot more difficult. This again will affect customer satisfaction and resulting in loss of business. If you can't depend on your delivery guys, then as a store, as a manager, you're probably going to look somewhere else, and potentially this could bankrupt you, the company. There's no way of getting around that. If you continue to lose business and not correct this issue of culture and managerial not being held responsible, then it's going to potentially bankrupt us by losing out on sales and revenue. The solution here is quite simple. We need to restructure the company with a renewed focus on the LMX theory. We absolutely need to have a follower leader exchange. It needs to be increased. We need to have we need the managers to understand that at lower levels, we are the ones on the front line, and we need to have the direct communication with our managers. And there needs to be new metrics put in place on these managers to help this and help these subordinates be held accountable. It's not only the not my problem at their level, it's the not my problem down below them. Because if you're seeing your boss not care, you're not going to care. And it just creates a perpetuating culture of that. And that's not something we need to have persist in our company. So new metrics placed on managers to hold them and their subordinates accountable. The metrics can be, customer satisfaction surveys, that sort of stuff, where we have percentages, we have actual hard data. Employee turnover rates, they need to be held accountable for those. If we're constantly losing employees, we need to ask the question why. LMX theory can help cure this because it can create these avenues for these managers to come in and communicate with those who want to do more. There are certainly members at the lower level who take pride in their work. And if the managers create this culture of, communication and, hey, what's the issues you see here? What can we do here? And create this in-group. Not everyone's going to join the in-group. That's absolutely true about this theory, and it's absolutely true about any theory. There are those that just want to show up and do their job, and that's fine. But, just because they don't want to be friends with the manager doesn't mean they're not going to be friends with their coworker, the one they're equal. There might be an issue there that they don't want to be friends up above them, but, they really enjoy the guy they work with every day and get up early in the morning and come see every morning. So if you create these in-groups on these manager level and you get this dyadic relationship going at that level, it can create dyadic relationships and emerging leaders across the board. And it can literally change the culture overnight just by creating these new relationships of customer first, customer quality, and that sort of thing, where issues are being resolved through these relationships. The managers are being held responsible now, and creating less turnover will help that, where these managers will not only be able to form these solid relationships, which will then affect the culture in a positive manner. It will also result in less money spent by hiring new guys every week and every month. So it's just a transcendent issue that will help cure this theory. This theory will help cure the culture issue. And that's really one of the biggest problems at our company. So by instituting these new policies and getting back to this LMX theory where the exchange happens and we create these dyadic relationships, it will help these lower level members step up and create a positive culture and realize this isn't a pass the buck or not my problem organization. It's one we can all take pride in. And, once that culture begins perpetuating again, like it had in the past, where, you take pride in your work, it will create a positive atmosphere that everyone wants to be a part of. And, job satisfaction will definitely increase. And customer satisfaction will increase as well, because the workers will take pride in pleasing their customers, because that'll be a metric that they're measured on, customer satisfaction surveys. And it's a positive thing that needs to happen. And we need this culture where upper level management relays it down to the middle level managers, the ones who have this lack of leadership, and creating this new environment of relationship building and communication will definitely just turn this company around culture-wise. It's absolutely something that needs to happen. It needs to happen now. It needed to happen yesterday, in my opinion. So, a renewed focus on LMX theory with leadership, communicating with members, and creating these dyadic relationships to turn around a cultural issue at Radios, or the company I work, is absolutely something that needs to take place. And it will not only correct a cultural issue, it will potentially save the company. Thanks, guys.